That's all good.
Cool.
This could be a short one.
Yeah, I was we was playing ping pong real quick.
Hey, I see why you was on mute.
There you go. I love that sound, man. He taking care of business.
Stop this. Get this going.
I gotta clean your feet today.
All right.
What's
Try this again.
up, man? What's up?
Put butter all on. So,
That baby hungry.
hey,
He hungry, man. You're not giving him enough baby food.
baby food, eat man food. You got to learn with
You said that baby eat real food.
Up there looking for. Yeah, all right, good. All right, for the third time, let's try this again.
Right, so we jump right in while we can. While you're doing that. So Tracy, you can okay, he's back. So okay. So welcome back, everybody. This is another episode of We Pod or What. My name is Anthony Hadley Jr. I am the resident homebody and creative and visual storyteller.
I am Kevin Grant, teller of all things.
Tracy Pugh, hard working, creative. Trying to help. My man said it best. Whatever he said, I'm trying to do. So, you decode what I'm trying to do.
All right, gentlemen. So we are a little short on time today, so we're just gonna jump on in. Funny enough, I sent you guys a text message yesterday. I just seen this new J Cole song drop, and I shared it with the group, not knowing after I shared it the kind of storm that it would create in social media. Like for me, I took it for just the face value. It was one of those songs where J Cole appeared to be a little introspective and kind of gave his thoughts on everything from his point of view. And he stood firm on it. I've seen him do it with other, like his contemporaries in the music industry. This time it just so happened that on the other end of it was a young Black woman and who had made very valid points on her social media. And a lot of people took issues or have at least chosen to take sides between these two and almost put them together. And I don't know the young lady's name, Tracy. I keep saying NoName, but I don't know if that is her name, so I don't want to attribute that to her if it's not. But I know Tracy shared the link. So if you gentlemen know a little bit more about everything, please inform me and let's have a quick discussion on that.
Okay. First of all, I like the song. I thought the song was good. I mean, it was a J Cole verse. That's what I expect. That's what I expect from Cole. Kendrick and Cole. You have expectations. I think as a fan,
Mm-hmm.
and that pretty much was what I would expect. I thought the song was on point. I mean, I feel like let's first talk about the song, then we can move towards the young lady.
Yeah.
So the song to me was his opinion, first of all. And I don't feel like it was super disrespectful. I don't feel like it was super like super like ornery, It was just basically this is my opinion on the situation. This is my opinion on the solution, which I know you love. You gotta have a solution. And he used his platform to kind of have people listen to, and I guess I'm looking at like, I have a different perspective. If you've been listening to a few of my episodes, kind of how I feel on things. It's like I'm looking at the hip hop as a whole. It's like most hip hop artists aren't even using their voice for positivity. So you got somebody who's getting you to even think about some of these topics and some of these situations, and he doing it in a way where the music is still good. It's like I have no idea what's the word I want to use? Why people are so like torn between the song. You know,
Right.
and Chance the rapper, you know, he feels some type of way about it. And he tried to make it like a no shade to Cole. You know, this is just about the, you know, the you can't. But that's another you can't really separate the art from the artist. You know, I don't believe in that. I don't know if you guys believe in that. So to me, if you gonna having a huge opinion on my man's song, obviously you have a huge opinion about him. So it's like that kind of made me feel a certain way. You know, but you know, he made his valid point that he felt was valid. But I thought it was a good song. I thought, you know, it was good timing. You know, it was very creative, and it got people talking. I mean, if you get people talking, I mean, you did your job as a I guess you would call it as a leader or as a star or as a somebody in the spotlight.
Yeah, no, if we're gonna talk about the song first, like, yeah, J. Cole to me has been on a run for a while. Like, J. Cole was at this point, he made, I don't say he's my second all-time favorite, but of this, not even new generation, but of that generation, so my favorite rapper is Jay-Z. Of the post-Jay-Z generation, he may be my favorite. And for me, I was one of those guys he spoke to in that A Lot song, where like for a while I'm like, damn, Cole's kind of slipping. But then he's been on a run so long consistently, like I feel like he's giving us the lyrical conscious content we need, but he's giving us a lyrical delivery. So I feel like even in a song, when the beat came on, I was like, oh, I'm not even gonna like this song. But when you start rapping, I'm like, okay, like he's still, because like there was a few year run where Cole was giving us, like, I don't know, he was in second gear, and he was just more, you know, the content was always there, just the delivery wasn't always there. But as soon as it came on, I'm like, okay, now he's spitting and he's dropping some jewels. So that I was very surprised with how he was able to give his delivery and his flow and still give the content and the subject matter that he gave. I do believe, in a way, he knew what he was doing. Like, even when he put out False Prophets, like, he knows what he's getting himself into when he puts those words out there. And I think he understands. He may not have understood that this was going to be such an issue, but I think he understood that people were going to feel a way about it. And I think at the end of the day, if nothing else, he has created a conversation that needed to be had. Now I think some people are going to pull it in different directions, but he created a conversation that needed to be had, and he's given this young woman a spotlight and a platform, that a larger one than she had before. So regardless of what happens and how people look at him, I do disagree in the fact, Tracy, that I think, especially as artists, you have to sometimes be able to separate the art from the artist. Not completely, but saying, okay, this is in the moment, say just in life, where this is what you did and you said in this moment, I'm not going to judge you as a whole for that. So as far as him and Chance, like, that's a whole different thing. So I do think Chance can do that and still feel a way of respect and admiration for Cole. The young lady, like I said, I don't know a lot about her, but I do think she made valid points in the original tweets that he spoke to. I think he made some valid requests. I'm not going to say that his outlook on it was the right way to go about it, because I do also understand, seeing some of the basically the summary of the response was that it was, I think, misogynistic to ask some of these women that are more enlightened and more woke to be patient with ignorant men. I think there's a middle ground in there where men have to take more upon themselves to catch up, in a sense. But I think on the other end, there is some room where we have to just, and I'm not saying men and women, but I do want to get to that. But I think just us as people, I think we have to learn to meet in the people. Some of us have to, as human beings, like, push ourselves a little more, but also sometimes, and that's just life, especially in the Black community, we have to be a little more patient in reaching back with information or with actions. My only concern is anytime, especially right now, when it's undeserved, and I think this is kind of undeserved, I don't want to see two people pit together that are basically pushing for the same thing. So that's my only concern. As long as it doesn't turn into something big like that and then the distraction, like, I'm happy, and I think he can withstand the conversation that is going to come, because good things will come out. But
Um, Y'all both made good points that I agree with. The platform, well, the song, to me, it was J. Cole. I think it was cool for what it was. I got more into reading. Again, I'm not sure if NoName is her actual name or that had to do with the delivery. But then I was like, oh, okay, well, it opened my eyes up to another dope person that I actually wasn't on my register. So the execution of it, I feel like, I think you said it, Tracy, about it was calculated on J. Cole's part. Because for what he said in the song, I feel like he could have literally just DM'd her. You know what I mean? Like, he put it in a song because he's a rapper. And I do believe the young lady's a rapper too. But also, I think the timing of it is probably more so of the issue, because it's always been a thing of, I don't know, it's a sensitive time, right? So people took issue with saying it was misogynistic, and I don't think directly it is, but then some empathy about it and say, okay, well, let's do a role reversal, right? If I got a book club, she opened a book club, which I imagine is to educate people. To say that, you know, what a book club's gonna do, I think misses the point. So that's why I know I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence in terms of where he was. That's probably the way his thinking, his outlet was, okay, if I just put it in a song, like, cooler to reach more people who might feel like me. But then also on the same token, then it's like, well, damn, of she's not the only person out there like champion us, right? So specifically to pick her makes me question where he felt, because I don't think she ever named him, right? So whatever projection was there, he's like, says like, you ain't talking about me. So almost kind of ego point, which, you know, is rap, whatever. So I don't know, man. I think I could understand from their side, because it's not even like it's a compliment in the sense that he brings her into the fold of light, right, by discussing it. But on the same token, I don't know, the way he executes is kind of almost like not backhanded directly, but underhanded, because it's like, okay, I'm giving you all of these compliments, but then I'm gonna tell you about how your tone should be. I can't tell you with the rap. I can't tell you how to feel.
Right.
So
go ahead. Sorry.
You know what I mean? So no, just like to take issue with that, right? It feels more of a blend of, you know, just him feeling some type of way, because she never, and I could be wrong, somebody have to correct me, but I don't think she ever named him specifically. And so then to pull her out of a group of, you know, people that's championing the cause, it just feels like, okay, well, I'm gonna do this, like you said. But I know he's calculated. He's up there talking about, I'm not as smart as y'all think, and yada yada, and that's fine. But then you can't like use that and critique. You know what I mean? If I'm not knowledgeable and I'm not this, well, then there shouldn't be a critique from me telling you how you're supposed to teach me, because obviously it's a take it a little bit type thing. You don't have to follow her on Twitter. I'm saying, so that's why it's later than it is. But I don't think he's misogynistic about it. I think he's just being himself. Now, is that like an unconscious, like, because we're all males, we all black males, like, is there could there be a blind spot there? Very much so, because the same, like, we deal with it, and so there's probably a disconnect that I think is good now, because there's engagement, there's conversation around it, but on the face, I don't see it misogynist. I see it as kind of like, you know what I mean? I don't think it was the most clever or cool way, but I wouldn't go so far on the bad and say it was misogynistic, because he's, if anything, it's just more of an ego thing, I think. Because whenever you think about when, and then this last point, and I'll hand it over. He said you gotta treat people like children, but then he's saying something about the tone. So for me, that's kind of like an oxymoron, because it's like when you're talking to kids, you are talking to them sometimes in a manner that has to be stern, right? Because if they're not understanding or in line, but then on the backhand, he wants to be coddled. So, and I got kids yelling in the background right now that gives that perfect example.
Well, no, my only thing I was going to say, I think if this was somebody else, I would, and you're absolutely right, there may be a blind spot for all three of us, but if this was somebody else, I probably wouldn't give them the benefit of the doubt as much as I do him, because to me, I don't really take it as he's actually putting this out as a critique. I think it's one of those things where it's almost like in a therapy session, like, yo, this is just what I've been feeling. I'm going to put it out here because I know as soon as I put it out here, I'm going to catch shit for it, but it's going to create a larger dialogue. Because I've only seen a few of his responses, and I say that to say because the only time I've seen him ever respond, he did say he stands by what he said, but he still keeps that same respectful tone. Is like, yo, I still want you to support the queen. I want you to follow her. So it's one of those things where I think he just took that moment, because I'm sure there's other people that have said things, but he understood that if he would have taken issue with something else or shared just something that was naturally in his mind, I don't think he created this thing to have a feeling for. He took something that he felt with somebody that I think he respected their mind, and he let that issue be out there to create, and he put himself out there to catch all this flack, because I think he is smart enough to know that, but to create a larger dialogue, because I haven't seen him really. He did say, I still feel how I feel, but like I haven't also seen him take a defensive tone. So that's why I give him a little more credit, because I think he's doing it largely. He's an artist. He's going to express how he feels, but I think he chose this at this moment to create a dialogue. And that's just how I took it, but I can be biased as well.
See, yeah, well, a thing, because it's like, okay, well, it's almost like passive aggressive, right? Because it's like he wasn't disrespectful anyway in terms of like the delivery, anything he said. He like, gave her ups. He bigged up to like a whole bunch, right?
Mm-hmm.
But is it even pertinent if I'm giving you these kudos only to like give a point of like something as minuscule as tone? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I get it in terms of where he's coming from, but again, like I'm saying, it's back and forth for me.
Yeah,
just in the if we talking straight lyrics, and we don't know, like you said, I don't know what after. I can't give him kudos for being honest and going out there in a time where like, it's easy for people to just be like, oh, you cancel because you're not conforming to how I think. But I think it also gives us a case study on, dealing with each other, dealing with Black critique. I mean, it's not on topic all the way, but we're going to have to talk about Kenya Barris' show at some point. But
different episode, but yes.
Right. But then it just makes me think of just like, Black critique, like when is it okay to like really have a truthful opinion, or do you have to go with the herd even if you don't believe it? Because I think that kind of ties into the whole systemic racism that goes on too, because you have people that's going with the fold right now who really don't believe that, and their choices will reflect differently. Yeah, I'm going off topic, but yeah. So,
like to me, that like when I think J Cole says, I don't know the exact words, but he says you gotta speak. You should start speaking to people like they children. That's a spiritual reference. So like a lot of the Bible, a lot of spiritual teachings go. I don't know. We never even talked about religion, but a lot of religious backgrounds believe that you got to have the heart of a child. That's how you should be treating yourself and other people. So I think he was more there with that, just like in general, like, you don't need to be pointing fingers at everybody else when reality is, and this is another thing. It's like, at the same time, it's like we all, it's like the same thing. Everybody go, what's Jay-Z? What's Beyonce? What's this person? What's this person doing for the cause? What's this person doing to help the community? And it's like, that's cool, but I agree with the situation where we shouldn't be in these people's pockets. Like, you know, we shouldn't expect just because these people are on a platform that they supposed to do the groundwork for the whole culture. You know, I think it goes back to, you know, holding ourselves accountable for what we doing. You know, if we can donate 10, 20, 100, $1,000 to a cause, then we worry about the things we can control. You know, everybody want to go on Twitter and Instagram and have an opinion about something, but those same people ain't doing nothing, you know, and that's, I think that's a whole nother issue that needs to even be talked about, probably a whole nother episode, but stay on topic with this. And then another thing I'm saying with like J. Cole is I felt like me and Anthony had this conversation about maybe almost a year ago when we talked about it. Kind of reminded me of Jordan Peele when he did the Us movie. And me and Anthony was talking about it. And he said something that it took me for a while. He's like, you know what? I don't even know how I feel about the movie, like if I like it or don't like it. But the fact that he got everybody talking and speaking about it, and the ending and all this, it's like that did more good than anything else. He could, if it was a good movie or a bad movie, you still was talking. And I think Cole kind of did something similar. I don't even know if it was planned or what. I mean, you know, it is what it is. But how it's unfolding now, he's getting people to talk. And whether you on her side or Cole's side, you still having a conversation. And I think with everything going on in the world, we're starting to realize the first base is the conversation. You know, no matter how anything's gonna change and not change or grow or not grow, you gotta talk. You gotta hear each other out and try to figure out how to come up to a solution. And I think Cole, to me, I don't know, Anthony, if you feel the same way, but it seems like you get that same thing that from the Us movie.
Yeah, I agree. But with that being said, as much as I love Cole, we can't spend this whole episode talking about him because we got another topic to get to real quick. So I sent the video, and I wish I would have got like an actual transcript. But in the era of, and I'll just and before we even jump, because you guys already know, like I'm literally stuck in the middle of this. But a lot of the rhetoric right now is defund the police, and I am definitely, I shared with you guys yesterday, I am definitely in accordance with the reallocation of a lot of funds from police departments to put into the community. But with that being said, I shared a video with you guys. This is former Navy SEAL, and he made the point in the videos on the Joe Rogan podcast that a lot of to alleviate a lot of the problems that happen with problems with the police and the community, which happens more so to us, these police actually need more training. In a sense, like he broke it down, like whether you were in a martial art or whether you're in the military, anything that you do. Kevin, you've been in martial arts, and Tracy, you've been in the gym, you played professional, you play sports. Like, we know that to really be good at something and to be able to keep our wits about us in any moment, it comes from consistent training and continually putting yourself in a situation and learning how to deal with it, and to not resort to an emotional aspect or emotional reaction to the circumstances. And I know, not firsthand, but from being close to a lot of people that are on the force, they don't get nearly enough training. So that definitely resonated with me. I definitely don't, if we were in a vacuum and the money wasn't coming from somewhere else where it was needed more, I would definitely be on board with police officers needing more training, which would probably be more funding. At this point in time, I definitely don't think that they should be receiving more money. I'm not for necessarily abolishing the whole police force, because they are needed in times, but I am definitely on board with the reallocation of a lot of funds. Especially like I was just at the protest for the LAUSD to get the LAPD out of the schools, and the fact that they have actual tanks, and they just gave up rocket launchers that they were having in schools. Like, shit like that makes no sense to me. So in circumstances like bro, who you gonna use I mean, I would love to have a rocket launcher, but who am I using on?
Right.
Like, you gonna use it on kids? Like, it'd be different if the kids were somewhere where you need to protect them from something. But so situations like that, that's a no-brainer. And there's a lot of other scenarios where I think it just makes no sense how much money is being given when the money is needed in so many other places. So I'm just getting all my points out of the way, so I don't have to talk really again, and you guys will have the floor. But for me, he made some very valid points. I don't know how it works in the current climate and the things that are trying to be pushed forward. But I think at some point, we are going to have to look at how the police officers and the police force are trained and the amount of training that they're getting and how those funds are allocated. But make no doubt about it, I am for the reallocation of a lot of these funds. But you gentlemen, share your thoughts before we sign off.
So yeah, I did. I saw it, and I definitely agree with the point of train. What I don't agree with is, okay, he's a SEAL, so his thought process on it is almost kind of more militarization training. He did say de-escalations and so on and so forth, but he definitely talked about, combative type of training, which on one hand I think important, but the whole issue right now is this militarization attack the community. You get this thing brought up, these incidents because of this, instead of everybody did. So it's like, if you're going to train that even more on American citizens, by definition, when they were like the national, like, you can't unleash an army on civilians. And I think that's kind of still at hand, because the whole culture of the police of a militarized now, because I actually saw in Newark, New Jersey, and how they kind of reorganized the police force. So they still have police, but they're very much more like community staples than they are now. So it's like you have these gatherings with the police, like the police are very much involved in the neighborhoods and the community. So then it becomes more of like a teacher children type thing, right? Of like, you go to the school, you meet the teachers, where there's not this inherent bias where it's like, oh, I have to operate a certain way when I'm dealing with them. So, and then again, I feel like as much money and contracts as they get, they just need to be audited, and then they can allocate that to training. Because if you changing culture of it, I feel like that changes a lot. Like, sure, there's always going to be a criminal, so you're going to always portion of it. But I think when you start to change the conversation and you change what being an officer means, you're going to see a lot of different cases. Because I'm sure a lot of a mental health cause. So if we're having funds to help people, right, need that aid, and we can allocate more funds to solving problems and just batons and everything else, then I think you open ourselves up to be like a better city. And then you'll have more people in line with policing ourselves versus just like, oh, I'm just gonna assume something's going on, right? Like the dude was asleep. And the first instinct is just to call the police. It's like, well, what if there's a different, like, he wasn't robbing anybody, he wasn't doing anything violent. And I'm talking to Richard Brooks, just the last of like the major ones we know about. If it was in a situation where you had somebody that didn't have a gun, so they couldn't shoot and kill him, and you can de-escalate that, right? Who knows what happens? But instead, you got a dude dead and a stray bullet and somebody that's trying to get food in line. So I say all that to say is, it's like, I'm very much for keeping order, but I also think that we need to allocate funds in other areas to like actually invest in society, instead of making it all just, prisons, cops, and just a police state.
Yeah. And my one thing I've added that is that I don't think all training is necessarily the training, like the militarization. Like a lot of it, like I just made a note. I think there should be more money put to mental health across the board, where the average citizen, police officers, because he did also make a point that these people get burnt out. But that's a whole different, like, I actually want to put that as a topic for a whole other episode. Tracy, go ahead and bring us home before we sign off.
I mean, it's it's tough. This is a tough kind of situation. I mean, I went to speak at a school maybe about a year ago, I think, and it was in the inner city, and it was a rough neighborhood, and you just see like, I guess you see the problem. Like you can go if you go to any school in any of these inner city areas, like I mean, you gonna be able to see the issue real time. Like you don't have to wait. You don't need to wait till these kids get in high school, and you're gonna be able to see like, it's a huge social issue, and it's like, yeah, I mean, the, the and it's so complex at the same time when it's like, okay, yeah, we're focusing on defunding the police, and it's like, and putting the money in the school system. That's what they're saying, but it's even deeper than that. It's like, okay, like you got to make sure the money goes to the school system. You got to make sure the money goes to the teachers. You got to make sure the money is going to the proper schools. Like, you could take, if that money goes to Beverly Hills or Santa Monica High. I mean, is that gonna have the same effect as some of these schools in like Compton and Inglewood and what I'm saying, in the rougher areas? So, I think this is sparking conversation. I'm just hoping everybody's able to maybe. I mean, I guess what I would say, because I can sit here and talk to them blue in the face, and somebody may or may not agree or may disagree with me because of whatever. I recommend people go check out your local police station. Look and see where the funds are going. Go check out the school. Look and see how these schools are, and how these schools that have the most, I guess, quote unquote, troubled people, go see how they're functioning, and you tell me what you think we should do, because like I said, when you there and you see like teachers is classrooms are full, the kids is, they're coming from troubled homes. It's like it's gonna take a lot of restructuring to really get things right. And I think, like I said, I can talk about this a long time, and I didn't want to just get out here and just say this, and this, because like at the end of the day, like I challenge everybody who if anybody listens to this, no matter where you are, go check out your schools. Be like, hey, can I check? I mean, I know we in COVID, they're not open, but when they are back open, so look at the facilities, look at the teachers, talk to them. They'll tell you like, hey, like real time what's going on. Because, if we don't fix the issue when they're young, there's not too many more options after that. So.
All right, I think that's a good point to close off on, unless Kev has anything to add real quick.
No, I agree. I actually agree.
Well, I appreciate you, gentlemen. To everybody watching, thank you for watching. We are trying to bring a little more order to our offering. So hopefully, moving forward, we will be dropping a new episode every Tuesday, some point in the day, maybe morning, hopefully mornings. But we will see you guys again, hopefully this coming Tuesday. Thank you, gentlemen. I will see you all soon.
All right, peace.